Alright you guys, today we're going to go ahead and do a valve job for the 1976 CB550. A couple things before we start. Tools that we're going to be needing. We're going to need this flathead screwdriver, 10mm wrench, feeler gauges, and the two gauges that we're going to be using are the .003 and the .002. Those are in inches. And then another 10mm socket wrench just to turn the engine. What's kind of going on here, I've been cleaning up the cam cover, so all the tappets are going to be out of order. Everything's going to be needing adjustments. We have the engine, we have it cranked to top dead center, as you see right there, the TF, and then it's going to be 1 and 4, and see the notches, they line up there. Let me get our chart. Here is our chart. So you're going to see that the inlet and exhaust, the inlet's going to use the .05, the exhaust is going to use the .08. And then depending on how we're cranked with the engine, we're either going to start with the circles or we're going to start with the X's. The way you figure it out is, since all my tappets are all out of alignment right now, if we were going to start with the circles, all the circles should be loose. If we're going to start with the X's, all the X's should be loose. So, if we want to start with the circles first, because you always kind of want to start with cylinder number 1, these ones should be loose. This should be loose, which it is. This should be loose, which it is. This one's loose, and this one's loose. On the flip side, if we were to start with the X's first, that means these should be loose, which they are. This one should be loose, which is not, and this one should be loose, which is not. So that's a good way to tell which side you're going to be starting on. We're going to be starting with the circles because, as you can see, with the number 2, number 3 cylinders, the X's, they're tight, which I'm kind of showing you right now. So let me get started on doing the valves. Like I said before, the exhaust area is going to be using the .08mm, and the inlet area is going to be using the .05. So, all right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and start the valve adjustment now. We're starting off with the circles. So here is cylinder number 1. These are the 2 exhausts that we're going to be doing, along with the inlets on this side and the one back here. To start off with the exhaust, we're going to use the .003 feeler gauge. I don't know if you can see that, it's dark in here, which is also .08mm. How you start off is we stick the feeler gauge underneath the tappet, like so. Then we are going to screw the tappet down until we get little resistance with this feeler gauge. So right now it's pretty good. If you screw it down even more, now it's like pretty much stuck. So you just want a little bit of resistance. Once you kind of achieve that, we are going to tighten down the hex nut here. Try not to move that tappet. So we still want the same resistance. Go ahead and keep the feeler gauge in there. Grab your 10mm wrench. Hold the tappet down with your screwdriver, and then carefully tighten the nut. Periodically check to see if the feeler gauge is still good, which it is. Then we just want to really tighten it down there. Okay, so it's still good, and that's how you do it. So we're just going to go ahead and do it again for this one. Putting the feeler gauge under the tappet. Once again, we're going to tighten the tappet down with the flathead. Back it off so we just get some resistance, like so. Screw the hex nut down. Check your adjustment again. And then tighten the nut. Checking this again, if it's still good. Okay, pretty simple. And then now we're just going to do the inlet, and we're just going to use the other gauge, which is the 0.05, and that's it. Okay, guys, I went ahead and I finished up adjusting all the circles, which is this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now we'll go ahead and do the X's. In order to do the X's, we have to rotate the crank 360 degrees back to top dead center. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. I gotta put the camera down just for a moment. Okay, I went ahead and I rotated the engine 360 back over. So now it's the X's turns. So these should be loose, which they are. This one should be loose, which it is. And this one should be loose, which it is. These ones should be tight, and they're tight. This one should be tight, and this one should be tight. So we're just gonna go through that same exercise again, putting the feeler gauge underneath the tappet, screwing the tappet itself down, and then holding it down with the hex nut. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and I'll show you what goes on. Okay, so starting with the X's, this is cylinder number 4. We're just gonna do the same thing we did with the circles. I'm gonna take the 0.08 feeler gauge, put it underneath the tap.